Hey everyone, my name is Wahid Lutfi. I'm going to provide you the full course for Rocky Linux, Rocky version 9.2, and this one. This is going to be the full course, and the full course is for free. I'll provide you everything for free on my YouTube channel. So all you have to go is go to the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is MyWebUniversity Free Education Videos, where I provide you a lot of videos here on the topics of Linux, Unix, operating systems, as well as Windows operating system, as well as programming languages like C, C++, Python, and then Bash scripting. A lot of like this video is from 0 to hero on Red Hat Linux version, Enterprise version 9. There's a lot of videos that you could learn here. ChatGPT, Linux advanced levels, and then Python, all kind of courses. Apache web server, you can name it. There's a lot of videos under the topic of computer science related courses. So whether it's operating system, like discussing the entire operating system, and the kernel, the shells, and then the utilities, the apps. And there's videos for Python, for example, NumPy modules. I have like 6 or 7 videos just on that topic. The Unix advanced level commands, and then Jupyter Lab, Jupyter Notebook, most useful Windows commands in a time, like a table structure there, as well as PDF documentation, and then thousands of PDF documentation that I wrote in Python, and the entire Unix manual pages is in a PDF format, also available on my website. So for example, this is my website, which is mywebuniversity.com, that I also post some of the videos and that you can just watch it in addition to the YouTube. In addition, I have this book, the entire book is the direct path to Linux Ubuntu, which I dedicated to my beloved late brother, Dr. Haman Lutfi. So I'm providing the whole videos and online training for free on the cloud. You don't need to install any Linux or Unix or virtual machine or VMware. Everything is for free, available for you. Free education for all. That's why my channel is called MyWebUniversity Free Education Videos. All you need is just internet access, and you have the desire to go and watch these videos. And then, for example, for the Linux manual pages on Linux Ubuntu, I have about 6,600 technical documentation of manual pages that I wrote a Python program to convert them all into a PDF format like this. So no matter which page here you click on, you will get a PDF version for it, and you start reading and understand it and practice it. And obviously, if I just make this screen a little bit bigger, you can read it, everything like zcat, for example, here, the gunzip, and all the commands that are related to zcat, gunzip, gununzip, zcat, compress, or other ones are all explained in this PDF format. So similarly, if you're looking for Bash scripting or something, you could just go there and then search for Control F here and type in Bash. And then there's a number of RBash and other ones. There's 6 of them. So the one that is this one right here, you click on it, and this one just show you the Bash born again shell manual pages. But if you're interested to watch the videos, you are also welcome to go to my website, and then I have Bash scripting explained here as well. There's a lot of in the latest videos that I have a lot of how-tos that you can learn Linux and Unix how-tos, including MySQL shell, and then the database MySQL, in addition to how to do booting and everything. So there's a lot of videos. And then one of the video that I recently posted, this have to do with Bash tutorials. So you can learn that one as well. But today's topic, I'm going to discuss Rocky version. So with that one, let's go to the main PowerPoint presentation here that I made for you. So I'm going to go through a slideshow, and from the slideshow you can see it is the entire 4 course on Rocky Linux. Rocky is the replacement for CentOS. CentOS or CentOS was the community enterprise version of operating system, and that was free in comparison to Red Hat, which is the Fedora release of Red Hat. And then Rocky and CentOS was the Fedora version. That is, this one is kind of imitating or duplicate the version of Red Hat, but on the free source community or open source community that is released under the general public licensing. So everyone, you can get it and install it on your system. So the first topic, when we are talking about this, I'm going to show you how to install Rocky as a virtual machine on a Windows operating system that I'm having. I built already the virtual box, and I'm going to install a VM virtual machine on as a Rocky version here. Then I'm going to do a post installation and configuration. Once the post installation configuration is done, I'll power it on and then show you the operating system release, log out, and how to safely power off the machine without your file system being corrupted or any corruption on the file system. So the next time you reboot, the system come cleanly. And then Linux how-to, I'm going to also show you account management on the user and groups on this one. So once you understand how to do create account and groups, how to manage them, that's great. The graphical user interface, the GUI, and this one it should be I somehow. The GUI was mistyped. So graphical user interface, that's what should be GUI. GUI, graphical user interface. So I don't know why I type in that word. So GUI something, but maybe accidentally because I was doing something wrong at that moment. So let's just go back to the slide, and we are going to go to the full course. We are going to install Rocky Linux for you, and then post installation, we're gonna do some configuration. After that one, we power it on and give you the release information, log out and power off safely from the system. Account and user management, we're gonna discuss, and then the graphical user interface. Then the terminal or the command line interface, we're gonna discuss next. After that one, then we're gonna give you the host details. And then we talk about the kernel and then the shells, the combination of kernel and shells. So the kernel is the core part of the operating system. The shell is the user friend that you talk to the kernel using the shell commands, which would be bash or corn shell or C shell or true C shell or ZSH. Any shell that you use, you're requesting on behalf of your account or some other account or root account, some device or IO or some kind of update to a file. All of that one is submitted to the kernel. The kernel runs in a supervisory mode or root level and then makes that request happen if it is a valid request. Meaning that permission and files and security, all of them are just okay to do so. Linux how-to, we're going to also talk about file system. We discussed the file system, then we are going to also talk about the package managers. In particular, we talk about the RPM, Red Hat Package Manager, Yum, Yellow Dog Update Manager, just that was the previous version of DNF. DNF is the newer version of Yum. Yum is a symbolic link to DNF-3. And DNF is also symbolic link to the DNF-3, and DNF-3 is the newer version for Yum, which is enhanced, and it has a lot of features and functionality that is better than Yum. That's why it was replaced by using DNF now. The individual PKG updates commands. So sometimes you need to update Firefox, sometimes you need to update Vim or some other GCC or Python version or something, or even the small utilities under the kernel, you could do that one. Or sometimes you do a system update, the entire system update, how to do that one, I'll show you. And then sometimes you do the system upgrade. I'll show you how to do that one as well. And then the shells, all the shells, including Bourne shell, which is SH, and Bash, which is Born Again shell, KSH, Corn shell, and then CSH, the C-like syntax of SH shell, C shell, and the true C shell or TCSH, and then also the ZSH, which is the latest and has more powerful than kind of a superset of C shell and Z shells. C shell and Bash put all together as one shell called ZSH, Z shells, and it has graphic utilities also that you can do more. And the shell scripting, how to write a shell script. There, we are going to talk about it. Compilers, how to compile a C code, how to compile a C++ code, a Java code, all of those ones we could discuss in this session. Interpreters, how to just use interpreters like Bash as an interpreter, Perl has an interpreter, Python is an interpreter, maybe Go language is an interpreter. So a lot of those ones that we could just discuss in terms of interpreters and compilers. Apps and utilities, in addition to application that you run, sometimes you also install utilities that you could just run with those ones, and the GNU utilities and GAWK and awk and awk programming language. All of those ones are part of this utilities said, and other ones that we could discuss in addition. The web server, sometimes the web server is Apache web server, sometimes Python, sometimes other ones, no, sorry, not Python, Apache web servers, iPlanet, Netscape, those ones, Tomcat, HTTPD, or Apache, you can get it. Databases, there's a lot of databases that are supported under Rocky and Linux, Red Hat, in particular, Oracle database, Informix, Sybase, MySQL, structured core language, MySQL or Postgres, a lot of them are there. Solar Indexer, and then particular Oracle and MySQL, everybody uses under this operating system. System automation, we could do a lot of automation on the system for monitoring the system health and also looking at a lot of other factors to make the system robust. So with that in mind, let's get started to the top level, which is the second slide. We talked about the installing Rocky as a virtual machine. In order to install Rocky as a virtual machine, first we need to just go to a website called https://rockylinux.org. This website, let me just make this screen a little bit smaller so you can see it better. And right here, this is linuxrocky.org. And then the website, when you go to the website, there's a download page. You can see that when you click on the download, the version 9.2 is going to show. And then basically, you have an option to download the operating system of your choice, whichever one it is. On mine is x86 64-bit, so I click on this DVD and I get the 9.2 x86 64-bit. So if I just open a command prompt here, CMD, and then I just say, let me just make a little bit bigger screen. I say systeminfo, and then find a string /i. I get the OS name. You can see that I'm running Windows 11, and it is Windows 11 operating system, but I need to know the type of processor. So clearing this screen, and then I do the same thing. This time I say, give me the model of the processor. So the model, you can see it is Intel 64-bit family. That means that it's a generation 11 Intel architecture, and then that is there. In addition, I can also type in device manager here. On the device manager, I can open up the processor here, and then see that type of processor that I have here is 8 of the processor with 11 generation Intel Core i7, and then it's a 3.4 gigahertz. If I just want to get the speed here, also I can say processor, and then that's processor style is good, and then processor, and then maybe I could say CPU. I don't think a CPU is there, but maybe model. I did already search for model earlier. So the model is there, and then processor. So that is showing, maybe I type in gigahertz. Gigahertz is for sure is gonna give me minus I processor. Let's say, look at the speed. So some of the names are CPU is showing or not. CPU is not showing either. So let's look at one other things like Intel, because I know that Intel was used a few times. Right here, you can see it is Intel 64 architecture, and then I think under the there's right here. And instead of megahertz, it's gigahertz and megahertz, but it's because it's approximately 3,418. That's like 3.4 gigahertz. So that is what it is. So I could search for megahertz, and then that would have shown up here on the processor speed. So you can see Intel 64 under 40. And then right here somewhere, and where's the gigahertz or megahertz? Megahertz is right here, and then the other one was 34. Let me just check on the 34, the number 3418. Since it's a number, I don't need to put ignore case. There's no ignore right here. It will just show that 3.1 gigahertz. 3.4 gigahertz. So that is there. In addition, I need to just look at the memory to see how much memory I have. Since I have 32 gig, let me just do an escape/I for this. When you don't do a /I, because memory is an uppercase, you have to do uppercase M here to match out that one. If you don't ignore the case, and then now it's going to find the same information. But if you just don't put case sensitivity, you have to say /I to ignore it. So now I know that I have 32 gig. I'm going to allocate 16 gig, and then I had 8 processors when I look at the device manager under the processor. And since I have 8 of them, I can allocate 4 of them for it. And then here, since I'm here, I'm going to go to the downloads directory, and then do a directory Rocky star. So I already downloaded this one a few days ago, last time on the 17th of, a few weeks ago, on the 17th, and I already built a version of Rocky, but I'm going to do this one because the full course, I want to show you from A to Z, and I will just do this one. This is a Linux Ubuntu. I'm going to power off this one. I don't need to be running this one. Let me just okay, this one was a previous version. Let me make sure that there's no instance of this one aborted, and that's fine. I just aborted now. I'm gonna just say, so when you abort it, sometimes it's not safe to abort it. What you could do is right click here and say, there's an option here, discard a saved state, because on that state that I don't want to save it. So let me just start it first. And this is another version that I was doing the demo the other day, and I never turned it off when I just logged out of. I did not even log out for it. So I'm gonna bring it up safely first to make sure that it comes safe. If it doesn't, I can always go to the Linux boot. So now you can see it came out fine. So if I just want to log into it, to just prove it to you that it is good, it did not cause any damage to the file system, that's what you should do. But if you did cause any issue, you should take care of it by rebooting it onto OS release to the system and the way you want. So I know everything is good. I'm going to say log out first, and then say yes, log out, and then just do after that one, power off. Log out and then power off. And the reason I'm showing you this one, it is good for your learning, because if you're running another VM that is taking your resources, and this VM, as you can see on the processor, I gave it 4 processor and 16 gig of memory. And the other 16 gig is available for my host operating system, which is Windows. So this one should not be running unless I just want to resize the memory and then the processor. Then I can allocate the Rocky to just have another. If the machine is power off, you're not taking the resources. That's why I power them off. So now I'm going to, in addition to this Rocky 9, I'm going to do a Rocky 9 version, installing it. But before I install it, I have to show you this DVD that I downloaded from Rocky version 9.2 x86 64-bit. It's a DVD, and then the ISO extension is about 9 gig in size. So I'm gonna download this, install this one. And if I go to my download directory here, on the download directory, you can see the Rocky DVD is also here. And I believe it's somewhere here on the, it's a little bit too small to see it. I can say start a Rocky, and then right there, and that's the name there that finds it. So I don't need to look at the file manager when I know it from the command line. I can make the screen bigger and I can see it better. So that is the file that I'm going to use for installation. And it is on the users Wahid download directory. So now we know where it is. We're gonna just say click on new here. And then on new, when you click on it, some of these buttons you don't see on the bottom. That is because my screen, I just made it too big in order for you to see all these things better. So I'm gonna just do right click here and say display setting. Under display setting, I'm gonna change this one to 125. So I can see the other window, then I could just resize it back so you can see it better. So at this time, if I go back to the virtual machine, notice the icons are much smaller, and then I do still see this one new, and then I can type in Rocky 9 here, and 9.2, I'm gonna write 9.2 is fine. 9.2 or 9.2 is good. So notice that I see these other options here that I can do. And then here that says that select the Rocky version of the installation. I believe it's hard for me to see this one. I have to get closer. Rocky 9.2 Linux. So I'm going to leave this one here at this time. And then since I choose the Microsoft Windows, I just choose Linux, and then it's gonna give me more option. So I'm gonna just say finish at this time, and then I will come back to this configuration afterward. So finish. Now this the 9.2 is created. Let me just resize the back screen here, the display, back to a little bit bigger so you can see everything that I could hardly see. And then at this time, I'm gonna go back to the VirtualBox. Now we both could see it better. So this is power off, but I could go to the setting and then configure it correctly. So the general setting here is Rocky 9.2 advances. This is where it gets the snapshot. That one's fine. This encryption system. Under the system base memory, it is 2 gig. That's the smallest you could run it on. I'm gonna give 16 gig, so it will run faster. 16384 is about 16 gig in size, and then the pointing device, instead of a PS2 mouse, I have a better chance to use the keyboard and interact with it better on the mouse. I use a USB tablet. Previous version, I had a problem with PS2. So if that is the same problem on your machine, you use the pointing device to USB tablet and try that one. And then this is good. And then the processor, since it's default 1, I'm gonna give it 4. And then processor, let me just give it 4. Here now you can see processor, I have 4 out of 8. That is all together on the machine. Acceleration, it's fine. Then I go to the display, and instead of 16 megabyte, I'm gonna go to 128 megabyte on video memory. And then storage-wise, I'm going to click here on the plus, add optical drive. And then on the optical drive, I'm going to select the Rocky 9.2 DVD, this one. When I click on this one, I click on choose. So I select that one. Now that one is the ISO that on the command line that I showed you here. This one is selected. So that's how the system will boot from this controller ID that I selected here. And then on the rest of the information, on the network NAT, network address translation, this is getting from the host machine. So that is how it's bridging out from the NAT, network address translation from the host. The guest operating system is Rocky, and the host operating system in this case is Windows 11 Professional Edition. All other options, I'm going to leave the default as good. I click on OK here. Now, this one is power off. I'm going to start it. When I start this one, it should go and give me some notification on the power on stuff, as well as here on the view, I'm going to choose scale mode here. So it's a little bit bigger. And then when you do this, notice on this one, you have an option of installing Rocky Linux. It's already booted the 9.2 version of the DVD that I mounted. And then it is saying that test the media, I don't need to test it, or go to troubleshoot and go to single user mode, all those options for some other day, that when you want to change the password, you mount this DVD and then you just take care of the problem that is on the fstab file or some other files or password or some corruption on the file system. You can go on the troubleshooting. But at this time, we're installing 9.2. So I'm going to choose that. And once you install 9.2, obviously this mouse integration notification, I don't need it because it's all here, intuitive for me. I've done it for years, so I can just follow the instruction, what it says. Here, it's nice that it says that the TTY2 is also available during the installation. So you could do Control Alternate F2 and it will take you there. But here the GUI comes in. So we don't need to go to command line, and the GUI already detect that the keyboard is English. So I'm going to say continue with United States English, and then the keyboard is selected. Language is supported, time day is selected. Installation source is the media that we selected. Software selection is server with GUI, that's fine. You can also go on here and choose other software that you want to do additional. But at this time, I'm going to just say done, and the software with GUI selection was good. Installation destination, you have a choice of making a disk. We did not make a disk on any size. So by default, the minimum is 20 gig. Because of the demo, I don't want to just allocate too much of disk space. I might wipe it out afterward. So at this time, I'm just going to do demo to serve you so you can understand how to use Rocky Linux, how to install it. You are going to get the knowledge and understand how to use it in your system. By default, and this is checked out, so I say, yeah, go ahead, do that in automatic storage configuration. If you want to do customize /var/root/ temp and then all other file systems /home, you can customize it too. But if you are doing the default customization, by default the file system is LVS, which is logical volume manager, LVM stuff, and that you are going to get it. So I'm going to go with the default one, and I say done. So now installation is going to be fine, and then the kernel dump is also enabled. By default, I leave it. The network connection, as I showed you, is NAT. The network address translation, it is automatically selected. So we're good with that one. We're on the network. Security profile, no profile needed at this time. Root password, I'm gonna set the root password. So let me just give a strong root password. And the strong root password has to be more than 8 characters. It has to match with the previous command, and then also it has to be a combination of lowercase, uppercase, and then some special characters, and maybe it cannot be an English dictionary words and so on. And then you just select that one, and now your password is there. So all of these options are done, and now I have an option to quit, don't install, or just begin installation. So I'm gonna say go ahead, install it. The 20 gig is going to be partition, as you can see here, creating XFS file system, extended file system. XFS is stand for downloading packages. It's going to go download from the Rocky or Red Hat repository, or Fedora in this case. It's going to get the additional software, but mostly everything is found on the DVD ISO image. It's going to just, when it says downloading, it's downloading from the mounted DVD. But because we are on the network, sometimes it also consult for any update recently that was released. Since I have the latest one, 9.2, most likely it is everything on the DVD. So we just are getting software installed. And as it goes through the installation, it tells you all the packages that are getting installed. At this time, it might take a few minutes to 10 minutes, 20 minutes. But since my system is fast and it is going to do it, I'm going to just pause on the video for a little bit, and then once it's done, I'll just resume. Okay, as you can see, the installation is in progress. I want to just give you a heads up on a little bit of information where we are on the video. Basically, right now we're installing Rocky version 9.2 on a Windows operating system as a virtual machine. And this is our virtual machine here. And when I click on show, you will see the installation is going in progress. But at the same time, the PDF PowerPoint presentation, I'm on the page number 2 of the PowerPoint presentation, which shows how to do install Rocky Linux. The next page on this one is post installation and configuration. Once this installation completes, we will be on this page, page number 3 for the post installation. So I'll show you the post installation next. At this time, I'm going to go back to the this video on the VirtualBox, and still this is in progress. So I'm gonna just pause the video again. When this one's fully completed, we come back on the post installation. And thanks for watching. Please make sure that if you have not subscribed to our channel, make sure that you go on our channel, subscribe and watch these videos, make some comments, and then anything you need, so I can fulfill those needs. If my job is to help you out for college and for your jobs, that you can succeed as much as possible. Okay, so let me just go back to the virtual box here. See the progress. The progress is a little bit slow, so we're going to pause it for a little bit. So depending on your system resources, sometimes it's faster, sometimes slower. You just have to know your system resources and be patient. Based on that one, it will get done. For mine, it was less than 5 minutes, or maybe less than 4 minutes. So it is already done. Now the system is ready to reboot, as you can see. And then let me make sure that I'm recording. Yeah, I'm recording. So reboot the system. I'm going to click on that one next. And then this will go through the boot process. When it comes to the boot process, obviously, it will come to post installation and configuration. Some of the settings you have to choose. This one is Rocky Linux, so I don't have to do a license manager with subscription manager. But with Red Hat, you have to have either a Red Hat subscription with Red Hat through your corporation, or a free developers version, subscription. That way you can just install it and use yum, RPM, and DNF and all those updates to your package managers and file system. You can do it whenever there's need for it. So and this one, if it comes out like this and it hangs there, you could just say click on it to power it off, because sometimes it does that one, and sometimes I don't know how long it takes to just take effect. So I don't have all day. I'm going to just say power it off here, and then just go back to here and just say start. And this time I'm going to hope to just come up without that state. Actually, if it does not come up with that one, you also have to go to the setting and then change the setting to make sure that it is not the DVD, so it doesn't come back to this screen that it was coming. So it does come up with that screen. I'm going to say power off again. I'm going to unmount the DVD here. So since it's power off, you can change the setting and then go to the storage here. And then this one, sometimes by default, after the first installation, it removes it. But sometimes it doesn't, so that hangs, and then it expected you to do it. So you just come and remove this one, and now you say okay, and now you say start. It's gonna boot from your disk image that we just installed. So this time it's gonna do it correctly. It says welcome to Grab. Grab is the default boot manager for it. Grab or Grab2, and then it will just start it. The Linux initial RAM disk, the kernel is going to get loaded, and then at this time it is just doing a startup, start the startup. So I'm going to say thank you for welcoming me to Rocky Linux version 9.2. Let's start it. And then here it comes to the privacy, and the privacy location is by default is on. I'm going to leave it on. That's okay, for them to know where I live, because I work with them all the time, and they're great people. In fact, when I was on the Rocky Linux website, I wanted to show you one thing that I just remembered. Here, when you go to the Rocky under the menu, and so let me go to rocky.org, and then somewhere here under the main page. Am I on the main page? Yeah. So if I'm on the main page under the menu, there should be a menu here that tells me this news. Yes, the about page right here is almost like the menu. So about the Rocky Linux, if you click on this one, you see here Gregory picture here that he's the founder of Rocky version. He worked with the co-founder Rocky that is no longer with the company, and then as a result, he want to give credit to that one. That's very respected way to do something. It is great that he is recognizing the effort of his co-worker or co-founder of the CentOS, that they work together and now they work on Rocky. So he named it after his the co-founder. This is what I wanted to show you. Now back in the virtual box here, since I'm on the virtual box, I'm booting it. I'm going to escape the account online information. Here I'm going to create an account called Wahidullah for my full name, but I'm gonna the user ID, I'm gonna make it short Wahid, and then I'm gonna just say that's good, and I'm gonna click next. I'm gonna type in a strong password again. The password has to be strong. It has to be more than 8 characters, and it has to be a combination of lowercase, uppercase, and some alphanumeric key. It cannot be a dictionary word or anything. So like a word that his pet's name or friend's name or children name. People, they guess that one, or they brute force it, the hackers, through the dictionary, and they find out the password. So it's better to just do longer than 8 characters, combination of lowercase, uppercase, and some spatial characters. And maybe you could make a poem and then take some character out of it, and then just make it something that you can easily remember. And it also has to be easily typed. So now we're say all done, that's good. I'm going to just use Rocky version. And if I just click on this one to maximize it, I can get it. The welcome to Rocky Linux, you can see the tour that it gives you a tour. So I'm gonna do take a tour because I don't need it for myself, but I'm gonna show you what they have, what features are provided. So start the tour. We're gonna just say start here and get an overview, press activities to see the windows. So right here is all the terminals and other xterm and other things that editor and kind of like browsers and anything that is there available for you, it gives you those ones. Make apps your own, so you can make your own apps. Some of the apps that are there, you can integrate it and then arrange the apps and the way you like it, and keep a top with workspace. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff with audio, video, and sounds, and graphics, and editorials, applications, Microsoft related words and stuff that you can get it. But since it's not Office space, Microsoft Office, you can get LibreOffice or another open source software, and then you can just use those ones as well. And then up and down, obviously these are basics. I'm going to just skim through it. We hope that you enjoy Rocky version. We hope so too. And then at this time, you can see that the software update ready to install. Even on the GUI, when I say post installation on this part, I wanted to show you that there's a post installation that we're doing it right now. So the post installation, back to this screen, you can see right now it is doing this. I can just also click here and then just open a terminal. Notice that here is a Firefox, here's File Manager, Software Updates, and then Help and Terminals and Show Application. On the application side, is all of these ones are available. But notice the application side, you can't see much. So what I could do is right click here, and then when you right click on the screens, let's see, at this time it's not taking right click, and now it does. So if you click right click and say display setting, notice that display setting resolution is this. I can just change this one to maybe a size like 1027/740. Apply this one. Now it's going to be a little bit smaller in terms of the screen, but then when I look at the show application, you can see better icons right here. So now you can see the icon of tour, videos, and calculators. So if I click here, it will open the calculator. I'm not going to go through all that one because at this time we're on the post installation. I want to finish the post installation first. So at the time that we did this software update is showing up here, say browse software. These are the software that you can explore. So it is under explore. You can create other additional apps and go to work related, play games and development, learn stuff. Each one of them you click, you will get a list of things that are available for you at the time that it's available. So like here, you can see some of these things are available that I can go install if it is not already there. But under the installed packages, it shows you what is already installed. Like Firefox, it comes as a package already there. And then every other ones that are listed here already installed. And then under the update, you can do a system update, the OS update if you want to do. This is all the updates that you can do it on the graphical user interface, the GUI part. So you can do this one from the GUI, or you can just upgrade only the Firefox, for example. No update is necessary at this time, but for the OS, you can see it is showing you the network manager. All of these ones could be updated. I'm going to let this one stay there for now because I'm going to do package manager at some point of this installation. I'm going to do DNF update and DNF upgrade from the command line so you can understand it. The GUI is always easy. You just click on it and just say restart then updates, similar to Windows. So if you do that one, just all you need to do is click here and then come here on software and then just go update and then select OS update and then click on the restart and update. When you click on this button for a while, the system will be busy, it will do it. But I'm going to postpone that one for command line because when I do the command line on one screen, I can do the command line on the other screen. I can cover a lot of materials. So that way I can give you the from zero to hero kind of concept, or 4 course on the Linux Rocky version in one session or one video. At this time, let me just quickly pause the video for a second. I need to pause. So at this time, you can see that the option that you have here, we already went, like if you want to get help, these ones will be covered on the GUI part. So at this time, we completed the post installation. I'm going to just log out. In order to log out of the system, you just click on this button here and then say power off or log out. I'm going to choose the log out first, log out of the system. Now the system is not logged in. There's nobody logged in, so I'm going to say power off. This time I'm going to choose the power off option. And when you do the power off, the system will just show you the power off. And then now the network setting again, if I go back here on the command line and just say clear the screen and clear the screen, and then say system info, find a string /I, and then say memory. So memory, and then you can see the memory is now all released. The 32 gig is there, 26 gig is available. The 16 gig that we were giving on this one, since it's power off, it's not there. I can also right click on the task manager on the taskbar, and then choose the task manager and look at the CPU and memory. So you can see the memory is 20% is used currently, and then the rest of them 80% is available. So you can see that one as well. And then when I just start the Rocky version 2 now, this time I'm gonna start it off so I can show you the second part of the presentation, which is, let's see what it is. We did finish the post installation already. So I'm going to cover the power on and get OS release and log out and log off. So that part, if I just go through a slideshow again, we already covered the first part, full course. We're discussing installation, we finished. Post installation, we completed, and now we're on the power on and operating system release, log out and log off. Log out and log off already we did, but we have to power on to get the operating system release now. So let's get back to the VM here. On the VM, if I click on show here, and now it is waiting for me to log in. I'm gonna close these notifications, click here on the account, and then I type in my password, which I told you has to be a strong password, and it is going to be allowing me to log into the machine. At this time, I'm going to be giving this graphical interface. So if I just go here, log out, power off, and then obviously I can say power off or log out. You do log out first and then power off second. So I'm gonna skip that part because I already showed you that part. It doesn't make sense to do the same thing over and over. So I'm going to go to the second part of this presentation, which is account management and user groups. So now I am already on the system. I'm gonna try to open a terminal. And when you open a terminal here, by default, it shows that Wahid is logged on, the user, at localhost, which is the host name. I'm gonna make this screen bigger a little bit so you can see it better. And I think that is bigger enough, you can see it. So now you can say, how does it know that this is my prompt and this one? I'm going to show you that one first before I show you anything about the account. So I say echo $PS1. Prompt shell 1 is showing you that it's a /u, meaning that give me the user ID. The user ID in this case, ID-UN. That's gonna show Wahid. So this is why it's showing Wahid. Then this @ sign is going to be this @ sign. Then the /h for host name is going to be host name. If you have a domain name, .domain name is going to show, but in order to only show the host name, you could say cat -d delimiter dot -f1. So this command says run the host name first, then pipe it to the output of this command, which is this output, pipe it to this command, cat, and then take the dot, the delimiter from it, and then get the field 1 of it. This is field 1, this is field 2. So if I get field 1, guess what I get? I get localhost. And if I get field 2, I get the local domain, the domain name. Okay, so that's how it knows that the /h is host is there. I can also get the host name itself without that information, or say grep -i localhost on etc host. So that is also showing the host name is localhost here, or the file name host name. That file also sometimes have it, host name, and that does not have it anything there. That's not assigned to it, but you could assign it. Normally, it does have it. So the echo $, PS1 also had the /w, which means that the home directory. In this case, tilde is the home directory. Clear the screen here. And then pwd, print working directory, is pointing to the home directory. And I could also say equal $home. Also, I get it /home. Get int password Wahid will also show my home directory is home Wahid. So that is there. And then my shell is obviously /bin bash, which you can get it $shell. This is the environment variable. There are some environment variables that you should be familiar with. One of them is $pwd. So if I make a directory here called test1, cd to the test1, notice that my prompt shell 1 and is dynamic. As soon as I change my directory, that points to the test1. So if I make another directory called test2, then cd to test2, notice it just goes there again and there. And echo $pwd is going to point to where the pwd is pointing to. But $home is still for the user that you logged on, which is home/wahid. So at this time, if I go cd tilde, it is going to take me to the default home directory, which is the same as this, or just typing this, or echo $pwd pointing to that one as well. So the pwd is dynamic, depending where you are, it does it. The print working directory in lowercase command also tells you dynamically, but the home directory is set once per user for the home directory. And how you know that one, you can do get int password Wahid here, or get int $ID-UN. This also gave you the same thing. Password ID-UN. Let me see. I might have just typed in one extra character somewhere. It is waiting for me for a second. Get int password $. Oh yeah, I used brace rather than this. It's hard to see from here, but I can understand that why it was waiting for me. This was brace rather than parentheses. That is parentheses. So you can also do instead of this subshell, you can do backtick. Backtick is like that tick symbol, and you can do a backtick, and then it will do the same thing. But if you just don't want any of them, you just type in the name of the user. So if I want it for root user, then I could get that one. Notice the home user ID of root is different. So when I say account management, if I just become here sudo su dash, and I just have the password or not, let me just see. If I don't have the password sudoers, it's not going to allow me to pass, but by default it did allow me. But that means I'm already on the wheels or sudoers. So grep -i wahid etc group file, and then you can see that I'm part of the wheel. That's why I could do su to the root. If I do a grep -i wahid on etc sudoers, and if it's not there, I can add myself. Since I'm already on the wheel, I don't need to add it. But if another user I create, like since I'm doing a user management, let's just do a couple of things here. We say user add, let's say I'm gonna call it Ali for my son name, Murtaza Ali. So user add, and then I just add it. Now grep -i Ali for etc password, etc group, and etc shadow. All of those ones have an entry for it. The shadow file has this two bang, meaning that the password is not set yet, but I can set the password and that will set it. Also has the like a 7 this fields that are there for having password expiring if you don't renew it. So we can do a number of things. We could do that one to take care of that one as well. So for root, for example, if you don't want root password to expire on you, you could just say pass the word -x -1/root. This will just change the root setting here, and then adjust the aging of the data. So grep -i root etc shadow, you will see that the last digits are set cleared. So right now, if I just say, let's say grep -i ali etc password, for the or actually go to etc shadow. So right here you can see the password is just having the aging. So I could say password -x -1 ali, and then that would set it. Now if I just do the same thing from this, and notice that 99999 changed to a colon, meaning it is set there, so it does not expire. But I'm going to change the password here for Ali to just get a new password. That's how you get the new password. So now I'm logged on here as myself, but I can say grep -i ali etc shadow. Just as since I showed you this information, I want to make sure that you understand what I'm doing here. Let me just do this. So the password aging, I can still set that one, say pass wd -x -1 ali. Since I did it once, I could do it another day, but I don't have to do it the second time on the same day. So that is setting the password aging, and then at this time I could say switch user to Ali, and then I'm just logged on as Ali now. If I just say who, notice that I'm logged on as Wahid twice on the opening terminal. So if I click here and then I say, well, that is good, I just open a account here with Ali, and then let's see if I can SSH with Ali or something. So, and the next thing that you want to do with the account management to be able to use that account. So there's a number of ways we can show you that. Let's stop here for a second. I'm going to show you another thing. I'm going to say ID here, ID-UN, ID-GN, and then get end password Ali, and you can see that the information is showing, and then excuse me, who am I, we know that Wahid is logged on twice, and then clear screen. I can hardly see the bottom of the screen. So, and this time if I just say for the user management, I'm gonna do let's see, ps -ef direct -i SSH. So SSHD is showing there. Let's see if I can do a local host to SSHD here. So SSH -l ali local host. And then I say yes, and then I type in the password. So now I came into localhost with that username Ali. If I type in who, notice that it is coming that I logged in here as well. So if I open this other terminal and I say ps -ef direct -i Ali, there are some process that Ali is running. And I can say who is logged on, or W is getting all the information for the users. I can look for ps -ef grep for Ali, and then or look for ps -ef grep for SSH. So all the processes that are coming, one of them is SSH -l that Ali did here. So if I just open another terminal here, and just to show you more, and then and this one I could say SSH Ali at local host, or I could say at 127.0.0.1. That's the loopback interface. And you can do that syntax as well, and then you're getting logged on. Since this is a multi-tasking operating system, you can run multi processes at the same time. You can see that there's one on for Ali for PTS2 and one for PTS4, the terminals that are logged on. One is on the local host on the kind of like a loopback interface on IP version 6, and then the other one is using IP version 4. So if you look at the EPC host, this one is for IP version 6, this one is IP version 4. And at the same time, we say IP A, you can see that 127 is the loopback interface, and this is the default interface ENPS3 that we are connected to. So I'm going to connect this one with stat -r. Let me show this PS -EF grep -I SSHD. Later on, we will go through LSOF, but because I already have the session open, I want to show you a few things with LSOF, since we're going to, maybe we're going to discuss it on the terminal session. I'll just cover it at that time there. So let's see, for the SSHD, we did this one. Now, you know that we logged on here. If I say, who am I, or who am I, it will show that I'm Wahid here. And then here, if I say clear a screen and say ID-UN, who am I, it shows Ali, who am space I. It shows that I'm logged in from this interface there, the loopback interface. So echo $display is going to be set if I'm using an xterm or something. I'm not setting a display here, but I could do this port display is equal this interface here. That means I can just create an interface for the display that I want to open here. So again, on this one, like if I just do as Wahid, if I say xterm, I can open an xterm. If it's not installed, I can say go ahead and install it. That one will install xterm here. Notice that how easy it is on the package, and it just installed here. So I'm gonna go through that one later, but I wanted to show you those options here. Xterm, so since I installed it, the display is not recognizing it there for this one, because I don't know what display number was there. Export and display is equal 127.0.0.0. Let's do that one, and then xterm. So this one is getting the connection closed, but now it's open. Terminal is here. So here, if I say echo $display, and then display is that. Now I say X host to a particular machine, I can do that one. But now if I just do SSH, and then Ali at the local host, if I do that one, say yes, go ahead, log in. Let me just clear the screen. Local host, and then I'm going to type in password. Echo $display, export display is equal :0, and then xterm. Yeah, that one is not getting set there. I'll check on that one after. But at this time, I'm logged on as this, and then who am I? It's showing. Oh, that's why it's showing this. So export and display whatever that one shows, we could do set to that :1 and then xterm, and it still does not recognize it because xterm maybe is not getting properly set with that. You have to have a xterm section. I believe I can do this one also here. So from the command line, you can just get in with a regular user, then allow on the host. And also on the configuration files, there's a file here that we can just look at it quickly. So since I'm logged on as Ali, I want to just log into this machine here as myself as root, and then there's a directory here, SSH, clear the screen, and then vim sshd_config. This one, there's an option for x11 forwarding. So I have to do x11 forwarding, and then that one you can see x11 forwarding is currently set to no, and we just enable it. x11 forwarding, yes, and then now we say host name here, and then let's do systemctl status sshd. SSD is running, so I'm going to do a stop on it, a stop, and then go a status again. It is a stop, and then a status is going to show that it is enabled, but it's not running. I'm going to start it, and that's I showed you how to do SSHD configuration. Now we have started it, and if it we check the status, it shows that it's up and running, active. So I can try to just get out of here and then say SSH Wahid at the localhost. Localhost. Before I do that, run echo $ display, and then a :0. So I could say exposed plus localhost. Actually, and the SSH, there's the option of -x export, and that will just do it. Wahid at localhost. You can do that one, and now I'll type in the password for it. And now I say echo $ display. It is localhost. So now I open xterm, it should be okay, and it does. So we have to do the etc SSHD X forwarding enabled, and then we do that one. So let's assume that was the case for Ali also. I could do SSH -L Ali. And so let's do -X again, and then Ali at localhost. You have to do apple and apple comparison when you're doing these flags, and then echo $ display, and then you can see it is exported. So xterm, it works. That's how you do extermination for that thing. So if I say who am I here, you can see I'm coming from this, and my display echo $ display, because we use the -X option with that file grep -I x11 forwarding on etc SSH SSHD_config file. We enable that one since it's permission denied because it requires root privilege. So I don't have root privilege for this user. It is going to just say not allowed, but I do have the option to just make this user root. So let's just do this one. In order to do that user, I open another terminal. I say sudo, it's u-, and then I just become root first. And then I just go to vim etc group file, and then look for the wheel, And then wheel is Wahid is there. I'm going to also type give Ali, colon Ali, the same group there. So now we come back here and then run the same command sudoers and type in the password. And it still says the same thing, maybe because it has to get refreshed. But what I could do is try another way here and then do vi sudo, which is go on the etc sudo files, look for the root here, and then on the root here, I just allow a couple of users. Wahid is one, or lowercase Wahid, and then the next one is Ali. Now these are on the sudo files, then it tells it that you can run the sudo files. So if I up arrow again, and then I provide the password, this time it's gonna run the command successfully, and it's gonna just show X forwarding is no. So clearing my screen here, if I just do that one, and then it shows the option, since now we enabled it. And then if I just do similarly, say that Ali for etc sudo files, now I can see that there's a lot of aliases. So I could say Wahid, for example, Wahid, it will just show that. And then for Ali, I could just say Ali here, but I could say grep out, grep minus I aliases. Grep out minus B for aliases to not show the aliases. And then right here, alias is there. So alias minus IV. IV meaning that ignore case. This was uppercase, so the V was not catching it. Ignore the case, now you will only see this one, Ali here. Okay, so we did a number of things with the account management. I think you're good with the account. I'm going to log out of all of these, and I will show you one more thing before when we power off here and log out. At this time, if I log out, there's another account called Ali right here. So I can log in for my son, Murtaza Ali, and then right here you can see it is allowing me to go to the graphical user interface and then take a tour. Because it's the first time, I'm going to say no thank you, and then I just open these terminals. And then if I want to open a terminal xterm window, if I want to do a xterm minus background, let's say pound 00, let's make it dark red. So I'm going to say 25, and then this is 0000 minus foreground white, minus font size is 17, minus face, font of the face is New York. You can do that one, and then if you want to run it on the background, you can just say ampersand here. Notice that it's doing that. So I do a calendar, df-h, id-un, clear the screen, pwd, ls-l. Any command I do, I can do that one. Similarly, if I just wanted dark green background, I just change the next two characters to that 00. Let's say, and this one would be 30. This is dark green. Again, ls-l. You can see that everything is looking good. So if I wanted size of font a little bit smaller, and then I wanted to say make it like blue 25, then the green is also 0, then it's going to be that ls-l, unit -a, who is there, and all that information is there. Clear screen, calendar 1/9070, January 1st, 9070, which is the epoch calendar for Unix, which is came out in 1969, 1970s. by Dennis Ritchie and Ken Thompson at Bell Laboratory of AT&T. The AT&T version of Unix was introduced. The Epoch calendar or Unix calendar started January 1st of 1970. So I'm going to exit out of this. And then these options are unlimited. You can do a lot of things. So you can even do a different set of colors. So 25, 25 for all three, red, green, blue. You can get this kind of gray color. And then if you want a different color, let's say this one, you wanted more blue kind of things. It came out, I mean, green kind of things, greens. If you just make more blue on the blue part, let's say this one on the blue part, and then you see actually white comes out, maybe because of some of the characters that I choose, the numbers. So with the colors, obviously, you can play whichever color you interest you. I'm going to exit out of this one. And then I showed you that I logged on with the Ali account. So I'm going to log out and then say log out here and then log out. And then on the other videos, I already showed you how to change your shell, what user add, user mod, user del, group add, group mod. So there's another video here that you might be want to look at it, watch it. This one is Linux how to on video number 7, the graphical user interface. And I think the one that I'm talking about, video number 6, was, let me just make these ones a little bit bigger so I can read. And yeah, video number 6, user and group accounts, right? So the user and group, I did show all the commands under the chapter 5 of my book, which is this one under MyWebUniversity. If we go to chapter 4, there's a table of contents that has all these commands. This row first, user add, user del, user mode, group add, group del, group mode, users and password, password check, group check are all on that video that I just showed you. You're welcome to watch that one and understand very well what you need to do. And then on the account, since I'm logged on as these people, I could run more commands. I'm going to go to the next session. I'm going to log out of here, say log off, power off. So now the machine is back to power off. Obviously, whenever the power off, task manager is going to show that the process are only 20%. Whenever we're running it, next time we will see how much of memory is used by the system. And we can also look at it when we are on the video session part of the presentation. So let's get back to this one, account management. We covered account management. And then the next one is the GUI interface. So let me just go to a slideshow again so you can see it better. We covered the post installation, the power on, the account management, and now we're on the GUI, graphical user interface. So I'm going to cover this one next. In order to cover that one, let's just go and start the VM again. It doesn't matter which account you log in. I'm okay with either one. So I'm gonna click on one of them. I log in, and then let me log in with Wahid as my own user. So my son does not get mad at me at all time I'm using him. So my son is sitting there and I just don't want him to get mad. Why? And you keep using my name. So right here I'm logging in. Obviously it's very nice. He doesn't get mad at all. He just likes me. So I'm going to go to the terminal here, and then on the terminal, I'm going to just get into the display. Before I show you, this is the graphical user interface that I was telling you. Very nice, rocky Linux kind of interface. You can just right click here, say change the background, and you can have a number of backgrounds. You can choose it. This one, and all it is just now a different interface. And if you want, that one is good. If you use the black ones right here that was there, you can use that one, or you could use this rocky kind of mountain, and then you can just look at that one with all the icons. So let's just leave this one for now because it's a rocky, and we're looking at the mountain. This is kind of a nice interface. As you can see on the front, this is also that rocky kind of interface there on the background in front of the moon. So I mean, that's the sun, not moon, or maybe whatever it is. I cannot tell. So most likely sun. And I'm going to just come back here, and then we're on the GUI. So on the GUI, let's discuss the GUI part of it, which is show here. And this is the interface. I'm going to change the display. I already kind of got puzzled to where I am at. So I'm going to just click on this one. And then for now, I'm going to use this blue screen for the graphical user interface. So this is the screen. You can also say change the display setting, and you can change it to a different setting. The resolution, you can play around with smaller ones. If you get like these tiny ones, that if you want really small resolution, and then you can scale it to 100 or 200. Let's see for 100 how small it is. Look at how small that is. I'm not gonna keep that one. It's gonna just, so you have an option to change it and then revert it back if you don't want to keep it. If we just choose something like this one, 10,024,768, or maybe even 1280 by 800 or 1280 by 960, let's apply that one, and then we say keep it. So at this time, if I come back here, this is my display, and then I go on the setting, I have all these other options that you can get. Notice that display information is small, so I'm gonna just change that one back to a little bit so it's readable to you. When you're reading the fonts, it should be readable and better for the video. I'm going to keep this one, and notice this one is the, it tells you all the setting here. The network setting that you have, a network setting is Bluetooth, background, if you just choose a background, notification, search. So there's a lot of setting, multitasking, applications, all the applications that are there, the characters and the fonts, all these other things. So I'm gonna right click again here, go on the setting here, and then Firefox, for example, if you want to change the Firefox or change the fonts, anything you want on the logs. So all these settings are there for you. In addition, on the display setting, we already looked at other numbers of this just for the display and the night, and the light you can set. And then here, going back to this one, we already looked at all the options here. So right here, let's look at the activity. Under activity, if you want to open Firefox, you just click on Firefox here. And then that would just open Firefox for you. And then Firefox, by default, it takes you to rockylinux.org website, so you can read it. Or you can just say, go to, for example, redhat.com site. So you can go to redhat.com site, or go to, let's say, oracle.com site, or any website that you go, and Jet Propulsion Laboratory, jpl.nasa.gov. It is all secure port forward to secure page, and you can see that it goes to nasa.gov, jpl.nasa.gov, which stands for Jet Propulsion Laboratory. That's where I work at, and so these are all the rover that we always work on, and depending on which project it is, and it's really nice that you guys are welcome to just go to jpl.nasa.gov and learn. There's a lot of tools there and a lot of things. You can even look for jobs under the option that is there under jobs.gpl.com website, or just under the careers. There you can search for it. I believe it's a link somewhere here. It says careers, and you can search for it, and they could apply. So now let me just show you some more information. So the browser, if you just want to go open another tab, you can just say, take me to google.com. And then obviously in here, you can search for everything, documentation-wise, Linux site, everything. Or just go to my YouTube channel, which is https youtube.com. By default, if you go to youtube.com, you can see general YouTube channels, right? So if you want to say, go to / @MyWebUniversity, this one is my handle, my YouTube channel. So each person that has a YouTube channel, it has a handle. So youtube.com /@handle will take you to that channel. So in this case, it's all the YouTube channel for my. If you want to see my son's channel, is Mo Lutfi 10. That's it's a YouTube channel which is for soccer, and you're welcome to watch and enjoy some of the nice things he does. And this is an amazing video that you can see. It went viral. You can see on this one, if you just look at it. And this one is another shot here. It's a few seconds. I'm going to show you to entertain you. And you can see that he does a volley at the 90-degree, and the target shot it. That's amazing. And then this other one, he also goes at Grand Avenue, teaches other youngsters, and then demo how to kick properly. There's a lot of nice videos that he has on that channel that you're welcome to watch. And if you're youngsters or learning, it's great to watch and learn it. And this is myself here that I'm juggling, but I'm not going to show a lot of those ones. It will be not an education video. So I'm going to close this one here, all of that. And then now I'm going to be back here at the Rocky. So we close the Firefox. Let's go to File Manager. And the graphical user interface, like Windows, you have this File Manager here. You can click on the Rocky. You also have this File Manager. I clicked on it under the right here icon, Files, and then you get this interface. So in this interface, if you just go to Home, and then look for the home directory, whatever the directory, like I created this test1, under test1, this test2 was there. You can right click here, say open terminal, and it will just open a terminal for you on that sense. So even though it's graphical interface, at the same time, you have option of command line. So if I say, let's say echo, this is a test, and I'm going to write it test.txt. Now I just create the file test.txt here. And notice that as soon as I created there, on that directory, it already wrote that same file, this test here. So if I just want to update that file programmatically, let's say I do a for statement here. I'm going to say for I in a sequence of 10 numbers, and then I'm going to say, just say do, and then say echo, this is a number, and then $I, and then done. Actually, since I did it on the local display, it shows it. I did not send it to the test, so I'm going to clear my screen, and instead of doing it in one line like this, I'm gonna just say where I say echo, I'm gonna use this double greater sign, and then the name of the file was test.txt, I believe I called it. So I'm gonna append to the test.txt that information. You see that? Clear the screen, test cat -n test.txt. You can see this appended there. So if I just open that file here, that is written those information here. So on top of it, if I want to just do alternate tab, I can go to the terminal here. I can just use this one and then append 10 more lines here. Now the cat -n test.txt has 20, but starting at 10 again, it override this one. But if I want to just do this file, and instead of that double greater sign, I could say one greater sign, say, go ahead, write to it once. So now the file cat -n only has 1 through 10, but not that this is a test there, because I overwrote everything with that one, including only the line 10 actually. So if I want to create that line 10, and this time, by doing append here, I can do something like this: rm test.txt first, and then do a for statement here, copy and then paste, and then double greater sign, and then test dot text, and then semicolon, and then done. So clear the screen. It did not work out. Let me make the size bigger so I can see it better. So now the file is there. Cat -n test.txt is there, right? So I want to just remove the file first. I say rm test.txt first, and then at the same time, I'm gonna use this ampersand, say and run this other command. So if I do this one and say for I in sequence of 10, sequence of 10, and then do echo, and this is I'm gonna just say $i colon, so 1 through this. This is test number $i. That way I could just say 1, this test number 1, 2, test number 2, and so on. So I could do this and then say double greater sign, and then test dot text, and then I'm done. And now I have a file called test.txt, cat -n test.txt, and it has the file that I wanted to create. 1, this is line number 1. 2, this is line number 2, and so on. And then this remove command, it ran this command first, and then it created this one. So now if I just want to do something like that, and then I want to do the same command with hundreds of lines, all I have to do is change the sequence to say 100. And notice that now I have the file test.txt is a bigger file. Test.txt is a much bigger, and you can see up to 100 is there. And if I want to open it here, all I have to do is refresh this one, this window. And let me just go to the file manager, test here, and then refresh it, and it's all the files, 1 through 100. So file creation and everything can happen on the fly, whether you do it here or you do it on the command line. If you just create a file here, say, okay, and just let's say I'm gonna write, I will just leave these ones for bash scripting. I don't want to cover too much on this one because we need to cover a lot more. So, and these are the directory. You can create all kind of files. Later on, I'm going to create some binary files, some executable files, some Python, some C, C++, all those codes. We can JavaScript, everything. we can demo all kind of files depending on which part of the video we are going to cover. So, and let me do a quick screen sharing is still on. I'm gonna get a water break quickly. Let me just take a water break, pause recording. On the GUI interface again, we're going to show you more on the GUI options. We already showed you file manager, so I'm going to close the file manager. Under the activities, you can also go to software update, which I showed you earlier. You can do the software update for the entire operating system or a package. If you click on the OS, it shows you all the software updates that you can do. All you have to do is click on this and then just go ahead and download it and start doing the software update. That would be from the GUI interface. But I'm going to show that one on through file manager or package manager in this case, and then that will be covered in details. Then the next one is the help. You can get help on all kind of documentation here available, tips and tricks. Get more help, hardware, drivers, users, settings, file folders, sounds, networking, web and email, your desktop, all that information are here. So you're welcome to just explore through those ones. There's a lot, there's thousands of documentation on the web also that I already showed you that I did for the Linux manual pages. I told you that you can go here on this one and you get a list of all the things in PDF file, as well as if you want it on HTML file, you can click on this one. There's documentation that I provided you here. And so if you're looking for example with PWD, print working directory, or uname, any command that you know, you could get help on it. So that is available. Also for the C++ compilers, I have this header files information here that whichever one you click on, you get a nice documentation for it. And so that is available for you. But on top of it, there's other website that could give you documentation, and also my book. I'm teaching you everything on there on the command lines, as well as like if you're looking for advanced level commands, I just give you, like if you're learning a user add, you're gonna be able to just look at this and then say, okay, here's the user add, user del, what they do, all the option examples and everything. I show you syntax by syntax. And if you say, well, that is good, but can you show me more in terms of manual pages? So yeah, if you want to just, let's say you can click on the LSOF, while I'm showing you examples here, you can practice. You can also click on this one and you will get the man pages here. You could just read the manual pages here. And if you say, well, how about some commands that I'm looking for, standard IO, or anything that you just type in here and there, or just Python. So any command that you do, I'll give you the output here on the website available for you. You don't need to install Linux or Unix or VMware or Amazon Web Services or Docker container. Just come in my website, look for documentation. I have everything for you online available. And just you need a browser and internet access. The rest is all up to you. When you have time, you just start learning. So that is for the GUI interface. As well as on the GUI, we have more options on the activity here using a terminal. So if you go on the terminal and click on terminal, and then let's just make it a little bit bigger. And right here, you could just say man PWD, manual pages. So man stands for manual pages. Info is another one that you can get info on a command. You can say man print, it will go printf, it's going to open the section 1 of manual pages. Man minus S1 will do the same thing for printf, section 1 of printf. So if you do a man minus S3 section 3 of printf, then it's gonna give you the standard IO printf functions and that are defined, not printf commands. Printf commands was section 1, which you don't need to type in S1 at all. By default, it knows that you're looking for section 1. That is going to show you section 1. So that's the manual pages there. And then I have given a lot of details with man minus K, for example, printf by keywords. And there's other option, what is man, or what is printf, or where is man, or where is printf. All the commands that are done here, there's always a ganzip file for it. This is section 3 ganzip file for it, and this is section 1. That's why when you do dash S1 or default, it goes to this one, and if you do section 3, it opens that file for manual pages. Print 1 is actually this one, not dash P. So section man minus S1 P printf will just open that one. That's 1P here, right here. And that's how they format it there. So you're welcome to just understand those formats, and it is Unix and Linux become your friend. People, they're always saying that Linux is not user-friendly as Windows is, or Linux and Unix are not user-friendly. No, they are both Unix and Linux are user-friendly, like Mac and Windows, and then they also choose their best friends. The more you know them, the more better you become their friends. So terminal is your friend here. And another one on the software update, you have a choice of all the software that you can go under the systems monitoring things, that you can go and monitor your system, or you can go under the software under utilities. You have a set of utilities that you can play around, like fonts. If you want to look at the fonts, all these fonts are available. And then unfortunately, when you do this one, you just have to keep coming back to it. Characters, and then screenshots, a disk usage analyzers, image viewers, and then logs. So all of those ones are under the utilities. And then also xterm that we just opened already. And so you have the xterm, and then there's much more under the utilities that you can explore if you want to just get those ones there. And then what other things under widgets and calculators, if you want to open a calculator, and other ones. So that's the going. I'm gonna just go back to the next page on this one. We already covered the going, and then the terminal is the next one. After the GUI, we already covered a part of the terminal, but I'm gonna cover more on the terminal here, because there's a lot more to the terminal than just the GUI interface provides. You can do a lot more. But while I'm doing the terminal, I want to show you a few things. Like on the terminal, we already showed you this. So under the terminal, right after the terminal is hostname. So while I'm doing on the terminal, I'm going to also do the hostname there, so we can cover more of the videos also here. If I just go here, click on the terminal and open a terminal, and I go Shift Control Plus, make it bigger, and then move it here. So on the terminal, also have the option to just change the preferences, the colors and everything. So if I just go on colors here, notice that this is the default background text bold color. So one of them is white, and then the text is a background. I could just say, let's say on the so this is just background is white now, and text is black. So we just switched it to this. You can do that one also here. But whichever one you prefer, I really like this one, except the text is a little bit not as clear, but it is actually. I can see uname -a. So I can change the text size or something here for the text here. It is dark. We can make it completely black, and then that would be this all zeros. 6 zeros would be black, or pound 3 zeros would be equivalent to that. So I'm gonna do 6 of them. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, and then now it is completely black, and this one is gonna look a little bit darker. Yeah, it does. So now I can get that color with white background. Uname -a, clear the screen. df -h, calendar, who command, clear the screen. ls -l. It looks nice, so I just look at that one. Let me see the coloring of the ls -l, grep -i, what he. Yeah, so the grep command, it just does it in a nice color in there. So cat etc host file, and if I say host file here and say grep -i localhost, so that those ones will be changed in a different color. Man who command, and you can see that the color of the bold is highlighted, like see also section. So that is good. So I'll leave it for now on this one, but then we have option to change it to whatever we want, and then yeah. So now if I just open another terminal, it is this is small size, but I can make it bigger like I did here, and then just look at it there, ID, clear the screen, boom, and then and so on. So what is the next one that with the terminal? We did that one. I think hostname. So I'm gonna run commands like hostname. Clear the screen. Hostname here is gonna show me, and the name of the machine is localhost. So hostname cat -d delimiter dot minus f1 will give you the actual hostname, and grep -i localhost on etc host file. It is going to show you also host names that not have a name here, so we can just put the host name there also. It is okay. Hostname CTL is also giving you the local host name information here, and then this is showing us a virtual machine that is there, and then VirtualBox is the hardware model that we are running it from. So that is good. And then clear the screen. Uname -a will show you the operating system detail. Earlier I told you that I'm going to get the operating system detail, and you can see that it is running Linux. Uname-n show you the node name. I'm sorry, not cat. Clear the screen. Uname-n give you the node name, and then uname-a give you all. Uname-s give you system name. -m machine type -p platform -o OS version, and then -v with the version of the symmetric multiprocessing SMP, and then a uname -r. We did not do uname -r revision. Clear screen. Uname kernel name is also giving you like a uname-s equivalent to that one. So uname-help give you everything, all the options that I showed you here, and will give you that. And then you can also do cat etc red hat dash release, red hat dash release, and then that file is, if I just say ls-ld etc star release, I can see that there's a OS dash release, red hat dash release, which is also pointing to the symbolic link to Rocky Linux. And so, and instead of this one, I could say Rocky release is the same thing as that one, because they're both pointing to the Rocky dash Linux. And then the one with the OS dash release is a little bit more detailed. And this one is basically, if I do a cat -n line number, you can see on line number 5, it says the version ID number is 2, and then the name of the it is Red Hat CentOS, and it is a Fedora version of Rocky Linux, and the distribution is Fedora, and so on. All of that information is showing here. Let me do a grep on Fedora, grep -i Fedora, and you can see that when you do this one, it will say that ID like Red Hat CentOS Fedora. So that is a Fedora-based distribution. And we look at the OS release and the host name. That one is covered. And now let's look at the next one. On this one, host name, terminal, we covered, host name, we covered. The kernel and the shell. The kernel, as I told you earlier, the kernel is the core part of the operating system. You're welcome to watch the entire Linux kernel video on my MyWebUniversity YouTube channels. I have those videos somewhere there with the kernels, the details are there. Most likely it is one of these videos. But right now, let me just see if I can pinpoint to based on the graphic thumbnail. Yeah, right here. So it is the kernel, and then the shells. All of that one is one video. You can see the Linux system architecture, and look at this video. Basically, it shows you exactly what we have done, and if make it a little bit bigger right here. Okay, so this video actually is I'm not going to play all of it, so I'm going to just come back to the main page, and then leave it at this level here, and then let's get to the right here, the shells. So the kernel is the core part of the operating system. It is the interface that is responsible for all the device drivers and system daemons and all the hardware kind of management of memory, management of CPU, processor, everything. Altogether, it is I/O management, process management, scheduling of the jobs, the scheduling of everything, including the processes, process management, I/O management, CPU management, disk management, account management. Everything is the kernel has to have an interface. Every request that we do on the server side, if I type in this pwd, it actually says print working directory. But in order to do that one, it does a trace pwd, and it does make a system call to this as the pwd, and then eventually it does all these calls, and it goes to the device drivers and just look at the file system and all the architecture and make sure the permissions are accurate in order to just open one information saying that the right output is /home Wahid. In order to do that, one new line character here, and then closes that file handle that opens it. So it's a lot of things are happening here. But just to say this, what is which pwd, you can say file user bin pwd. That is an executable link format binary itself. So in order for that file to execute those kind of instruction, user bin pwd, and that the kernel is just doing all the libraries that are there. Library C, libc.so, share the object file, and then this one is Linux x86, and then Linux virtual disk and other stuff that are there. There's a lot of things on this one, and then for each of these ones, there's pmap, prosmap, file system. It's a lot. It's just believe me, everything that is happening on the shell level here at the command line, it is going to interact with the kernel level, and the kernel level, it makes the right system call, and then either the systemd, which is the mother of all processes on this version of Rocky, that is listening to it. So ps minus ef direct minus I system ctl. System ctl is one, systemd is another one. Notice systemd itself is the main process, which is process ID 1. That means a net that was for system 5 release 4 were the main process for all the process. That was, every process was a child process of a net. Now a net is replaced to systemd, which is starting with Red Hat 7.6 and CentOS 7.7 and up. Everything becomes systemd 6 and down was a net level, system 5 release 4. But now this is system 7, even with Red Hat 8 and 9 and Rocky 8 and 9 and CentOS 8.9, systemd is the one. With Ubuntu, same thing after Ubuntu version 16, everything is systemd. So systemd has a number of other daemons that are helper to systemd. One is like firewall D for security purpose for firewall. And another one is logd, systemctl is controllers to start services. Journal D is for the log writers and a lot of that stuff. So we will just discuss a few of them here. But the shells, echo $ shell is the default shell that the user logged on. So if I just type in ID here and I say get int password wahid, you can see that /bin bash is my shell. And right here is saying this. There's a file called here, say shells, I think it is. Let me see, etc shells. Yeah, lowercase. Cat etc shells is pointing to all the shells, shells with one is. So cat etc shells will show you that you have a bourne shell and bash and sh and then bash again. All of these shells are available on the system already. So if I say which sh, this is bourne shell. So PS right now, I'm using the bash. Echo $, I'm using this shell that is bash here. And then as I'm going through this one, I'm covering a lot of the echo $ shell stuff, but I'm going to do a lot more. So sometimes we may just not do the PowerPoint presentation on a particular page because we already covered it. So let's go with the shells. And then at this time, if I just type in shell here, notice my shell changed. And if I just say PS, notice this PS is pointing to the latest shell that I did point to, which is echo $, is pointing to the 7395. And if I just go to Korn shell, if Korn shell is installed, it will get it. But if it's not installed, it will not get there in the Korn shell. So in order to do it, I have to become root here. And then I become root first. And now I say which Korn shell is not there. So I say DNF install Korn shell. So now I install Korn shell. It is going to install it there. Let me make sure that it is done. Say yes, and then now it is done. And then I say which Korn shell, this time it is installed. So if I say Korn shell, notice that my last shell is Korn shell here. So the Korn shell is a superset of sh, but bash has similar syntax. There's certain things I was doing with Korn shell that I could not do with bourne shell. So it has a lot of more functionality, and then you could change your keyboard to be a VI editorial, and you can type faster and all those things or feature of it. But bash has provided all of what Korn shell in bourne shell provided. That's why it's called bourne again shell and bash. So which $sign now point to that process ID of Kernel shell. If I open another Kernel shell, now notice again, now I'm on the Bourne shell. So clearing the screen here, exit out of that one. Now if I type in PS again on the Kernel shell, and I say echo $sign, now in Kernel shell, exit out of that one, PS, and now I'm back on the Bourne shell, which is process ID 74114. So clear the screen here. If I do C shell is not there. True C shell is not there. So I'm going to say, yeah, go ahead and install it. And then now installing the true C shell also comes with it. Which C shell is there now? Which true C shell is there? So the C shell and true C shell has a different syntax than SH and Bourne shell and Kernel shell. The syntax is much like C-like syntax. That's why it's called C shell. And true C shell is enhanced version of C shell. So if I go here and say export command, it's may work, but most likely, and this one is env is giving you the environment. Set env x is equal 1, and then sorry x, you don't put equal, and now set env, set environment x1. I'm still in bash, maybe. Yeah, that's why. So I have to change the C shell. Now I say set env x is equal 1. So now PS is there, and then I do echo $sign x, and then you can see that is there. Set env name is equal Wahid, and just I need to put not equal, because I'm using set env syntax, echo $sign name. You can see that it is there. Now if I just exit out of this one, and then I go back to the bash, I say export name is equal Wahidullah. Notice I put equal because this is instead of set env, I use export. Now I say echo $sign name, it will see the same thing, and that is properly. But if I say echo $sign x, it was on the other shell that I had the value. Here I have to say x is equal 5, and then do export x, and then you can see x is equal 5. Clearing this screen, and go to the true C shell, and then again here now I set my true C shell. I cannot do an export name as equal Wahid. You cannot do that one, because export is not a valid command for it. So instead of doing export, you have to do a set env, and then instead of equal sign, you put a space. Now I'm on a true C shell, then echo $sign name, I will just say that I did this. And then since I'm on the true C shell, I go echo $sign, it shows that I'm on the 7951. Clear the screen, exit out of this one. So now we have installed all of those one. I'm going to exit out and then come back here. So every time now, since we installed that one, if I just open a terminal here again, assuming that I'm coming back on another day, and then make this size bigger, and then I say, okay, which C shell it is there, which Kernel shell is there, which SH is there, which bash is there, which true C shell is there, which ZSH is not there. I will leave that ZSH for package installation later on. We could do that. So we talked about the Kernel shell and the bash and the C shell. We create some environment variables, and there's also set in set command will give you all the global variable as well as local variable. env only give you the global variables, so you can do that. Let me just see what other things I need to cover. Shells we discussed, the host name we discussed, file system. The file system is important. As you can see on the file manager on the GUI I showed you, when you go to the file manager, so right here, if I just close this one and then go under the GUI, under the file manager, you see the file systems are here are already exported. This is /home only. If you're looking for more information, you have to go out here and then just go to the directory that you want, and then just go to the top level, and then just go through the GUI. Obviously, the GUI is like all these listing and everything that are there, the files that you select whatever you want and you do that on. That's very intuitive because it's a graphical user interface. I don't think that needs explanation, but I'm going to show you command line on the file system, so I could just show you how you're going to navigate through commands to the file system, and what is the file system here, the details behind the hood. And so let me just do bigger size here. I believe this is bigger enough. So I'm gonna just first do export PS1 to only $. And notice that if I do it only $, my screen here is really nice. I'm only having the print working directory on the /home directory. If I want to go to the root directory, I say cd/, then I do a ls, and here I get a long listing of, listing of all the directories and files. But at this time, it's really hard to know what they are and what they represent. So I'm going to do ls-f to differentiate between a file and a directory. All of the files are having a slash after it, except some has lib@, and then sbin@. These are the one that has slash are all directories. So if you do ls minus l lf in this case, and then 5 more, you could see that the files that are having slash are directories, and then the one with the sbin, for example, was a symbolic link. That's why it was @. It is symbolic link. This is a pointer to user/sbin, and then this is L representation of a symbolic link. So each of files, if it is a directory, there's a D here. If it's a regular file, it would be a dash. If it's a symbolic link, it would be L. And that one was also, the bin was also at user bin. So when there's symbolic link, that was showing there. If I just do ls here, ls-f, like sbin was at, lib was at. So notice the lib is somewhere here, right here. Lib is also symbolic link. So this at on the F represent that symbolic link, and the same thing with lib64. And then what it is there in this directory here, and the AFS is just like an under file system, or it might be just not pointing to anything. It is empty. /boot is all the boot file system. The virtual machine, Linux, RAM, initial RAM disk, all of this is the related initial RAM disk you can see here. These are size bigger. This is the entire initial RAM disk that the system kernel boots. grab2 is the configuration for /boot/grab2. It gives you this, but you have to be root. So if I do sudo and that command, and then I type in the password, okay, so that I need to type in the password correctly. I mistyped it twice. Sorry about that. And now you see that listing of the commands are there. In order for me to just be able to debuild these commands, I'm gonna do switch user -root one time, and then become root. So that way I can just do the command. But notice it helps me that say your user ID is root and you're a local host. I know that information, so I'm gonna say PS1 is equal just pound. Just pound enough is good for me to just do this. Let me just take this one out and give one space here. Clear the screen here. Now notice that I know that I'm on as root ID-UN and ID-group name, PWD host name, and then host name cat minus D and delimiter and dot minus F1 that would give you this double quote, single quote, whatever one you started, you have to finish it with the same one. And so right here, we did get this information, but I was showing you on the root partition, root file system, which is this, you have these files. So etc is another directory that etc stand for. There's all configuration for etc. It's a lot of files and directories here that are all system related files. There are some files for repositories for YAM updates and DNF and all other ones. There's something for fstab file, cat etc file system table. fstab stands for file system table, and it shows you this mounted file system that are already mounted and what type of file system they are there. And notice that they are XFS file system. So if I say df-h type XFS, extended file system, it shows all the ones that are like root is pointed as XFS, and then the /boot is file XFS. So if I just don't specify it with that type, I get everything. But if I want to just particularly get one type, then I will just have to do the type. And then -t or minus uppercase F is the same command. And type, and then F in Unix, Solaris also works, and then T on Windows on Linux also works. So T and F is interchangeable, you can use. And then you can also df-h you can do, or df-h I give you the inode number. So the inode number is a structure on the C programming language that shows where the files and directories and who's the owner, what is all the structure of the file details are kept into the inode structure, data structure. It's a data structure. And right here, if I just go say touch this, and now I created a file, an empty file called this. If I do ls -ld this, you notice that it has a regular file here dash, and then at the same time, if I just say stat this, that is also showing me a lot of the information about that file, that this is a regular file and it is on this root directory created by root user as owner, the group. All of this information that is here is about this file is saved in the inode data structure. And I can also do ls -li here to get the inode number. So this is the inode number in this file. And the inode number is a unique number that will just be pointing to that file. And if I have sometimes symbolic link versus hard link, then the inode number sometimes is the same, sometimes it's a different link. And that's why we have to just differentiate between symbolic link and hard link. So just to let you know that if I just create a file, let's say echo this, and I send the file to this.txt. Now cat this.txt. If I look at the octal thumb minus C on this.txt, you can see that this is information on the file with all the number of characters, the new line characters, all the details. And I can say cat -e a this.txt, and then I could also get the $sign instead of the new line character there to see that one. And if I go -n for line number, then I can see that there's only one line on that one. And now if I say echo Wahid and then double greater sign to this.txt, now notice that this.txt, I created one more lines, and if I just do the same cat command, it shows 2 line numbers and 2 new line characters. And it's still this one, if I do octal dump -c for character, you can see that there's a new line character, and then it appends Wahid to the end of that line. So what is I'm showing you here, stat this.txt. So, and these files are created on the system, and it is on this directory here, ls-c l this.txt is there. This inode, the structure, all this information is written on the inode. And then ls-li this.txt has that one. Now let me create a symbolic link to that file. Link -s, and then we say this.txt. I'm going to say symlink on this.txt. So I just created a symlink to that file, and notice that symlink on this one is a symbolic link to that one. It has a dash here. So if I just do this command star this, notice that they have different symbolic link because it's a symbolic link, different inode number, right? So now I'm going to say, well, that is great, and I'm going to cat sim underscore this.txt. I should see this.txt, which I do. But I'm going to remove, not remove yet, link minus not ls this.txt, and I'm going to say hard this.txt. So this one is a hard link. Now if I say star this, notice that one is hard link, this one, and the other one is soft link, which is symbolic link. But the file this is .txt is on the both case is there. So hard this. Now I'm gonna do, instead of I'm gonna do li to show me the inode number. Notice that this .txt has the same inode number as the hard link. So if I just remove one of them, the other one is still stays on the system without any problem. But in the case of symbolic link, if I remove the symbolic link, the actual physical file still exists, does not care, because that was just an alias or a pointer to it. But if I just remove this file, the symbolic link will be blinking, saying that I'm not sure what I was pointing to, and that file I cannot find it. So if you look at me, let me just say remove this.txt, and then I say, yeah, go ahead, remove it. Now if I just do the same ls-li, notice the hard link is okay, because it is pointing to the inode number that I can still cat the content of this one, even though the actual physical file that was there, it is removed. But the inode number is still there, so it still point to a valid number. But if I click, type in the say cat sim underscore this.txt, it is not pointing to anywhere. So because this file is there, so this file symlink sim this.txt meaningless. I'm going to remove it. And then now, if I want to see the long listing of these files that I did, I say ls-l, it gives you a long listing of all of them. But if I say ls-l-tr, it shows the last files that I updated at the bottom, ltr, timestamp and recursive. So this one I'm going to do, remove the file I don't need, and then I don't need hard underscore this.txt. So now those two files are gone, and I am back to the same way. So the next directory on the file system here is dev. Dev is all the devices and that are there on the system. So the next one is boot etc lab, and lab is all the libraries that are on the system. And then media, if you have any media there, which I don't, and opt is optional, a directory that you can do. Root is the root file directory. You have to be root to look at the content of it. That's the home directory of root. And then the next one is system binaries. under sben, and then the sys is system and directories, and then what is the next one is user, all the user and user ben, or under that one in user sben, user lab 64, all of those one, user include, all the C++ include files are under user include, and user lab is the libraries, and so that's a very important directory. And then and the next one is ben. We already look at that one, binaries, and then so /ben, it's gonna give you this, but you have to say user ben to see all the binaries actually there, because that one is pointing to that user ben. So /home is the home directory, any user's account and everything is there. Left is the 32-bit, and left 64 is for 64-bit libraries. And then the /mnt is for mount points. /proc file system is sudo terminal file system. That's all the details of the proc file system. Like for example, if you look at the proc mem info, this is a 0 byte, but because it's proc file system or sudo file system based on memory, it is going to tell you how much memory you have. And then even though it shows 0 byte, as you can see when I did this command, it shows 0 byte, but then when you do cat the content of it, you will see the detail, because it reads it from memory. It's a sudo file system or memory-based file system. Same thing with CPU info. And if you look at it, it is 0 byte because it's based on memory, but you can cat it and you can get it. The system LS CPU, you can get that information for free. You can get memory information, and then df-h can get you disk space information. df-h hi give you inode numbers information, and then uptime will show you the system, and then top shows you all the processes that are up and running, and then the process ID, users, priority, virtual memory, resident portion, share memory, status, CPU memory, time, the actual process, and then timestamp of all of them that they're running. At the same time, how much memory they are taking, what is the high load on the average of the system, load average it is there, and then there's a lot of things, CPU, memory, and then system level for user level. You can also do top minus U for a particular user, like root, and you just get there, or you say top minus P process 1 just to get the system D there, or just say process 1, 2, 3 to just see 3 process with process ID number 1, 2, 3. And then you can also get minus U Wahid for just to say process for showing me Wahid there. There's a lot of other commands there. htop, if you don't have it, you have to install it. And then I have shown you on other videos. I'm not going to cover those ones again, which is already covered, so it's going to be repeated. It doesn't make sense. If you have a video already by the same person, you should watch that one. And then let me just see on this one. We talk about the file system already. So I'm going to go next, the package manager. Package manager, in this case, is going to be RPM, YUM, and DNF. RPM is a Red Hat Package Manager. YUM is Yellow Dock Update Manager. DNF is the newer version of YUM, which is kind of like a superset. It has a lot of new features, and I'm going to show you all 3 of them next. And then individual packages, how you update and how you upgrade and the update packages. I'll show you that one. And then system update, how you do the system update. I'll do that one also on the next session. And then system upgrade. So these are all under the package manager. Then the shell, we already covered a number of them. Then I'll jump into shell scripting after that. So let's just go to file management first. Package management. So one is that you can say RPM minus QA and to get a list of all the RPMs. And then what is RPM stand for Red Hat Package Manager. So if you say RPM and then what is YUM, Yellow Dog Update Manager. What is and the next command is DNF, and is showing you DNF command references. So those three package manager I'm going to discuss. I have other videos that I went through details on these ones already, but I'm going to just cover this one quickly on everything that you need to know about it. So if you want to say, show me all the list of all the RPM, query all QA. And then if you want to see a word count on it, you just say word count minus L, that many 1173 RPMs are installed in the system. So if you say RPM minus QA, grep minus I, OpenSSL. And then now you see that these RPMs are there. If you want to get a query on them, you can also do this RPM minus QL, do a listing on $ and this command. So the $, this subshell become the input this to this QL. You can do and then just get this one, or you can do it with while read var. Here say while read var or while read RPM, and then say do, and then say echo working on and $ RPM now, and then say date command, then sleep 2 seconds, and then say RPM minus QL, QL $RPM. This $RPM, I could have given it a var or another variable, but most likely it should be okay. And then it's gonna say working on that one, then it is sleeps 2 seconds, then work on the next one, and we'll do that one. But the way I did it earlier, you can you could have done this one the way I did it earlier, like this. Actually, there was one of them right here. You could have also do a backtick here, backtick here, and then run this command, and there it will do the same thing here. Except that one does not have a sleep time or working on that one because we're not doing it in a while read var. Similarly, if I want to do for YUM, I could do YUM list, and then it shows all the YUM repository and that or everything is there. YUM list word count minus L will give you a what is in how many are there there. YUM repo list, you could get the list of repos. Repo list. Repo, I missed the O. So YUM repo list will show you that thing. And then etc yum.repo list directory is there. So if you look at this directory, it is yum.repos.d. It has these one, and then inside this you have the repos that you enable or disable. When you do YUM repo list, that will show what is in there. And then obviously with YUM, there's all these commands that you can do: install, remove, or something like look, listed. I showed you history, info, install, and everything. So on a package that we looked at it, you can also do like YUM info OpenSSL. So if you want to see OpenSSL packages there, you could just say YUM info OpenSSL, or clear the screen YUM info OpenSSH. So you can get that package information. YUM list OpenSSH. If you want to just see if OpenSSH is installed or not, you could do YUM install or remove or something. So similarly with the YUM, everything that is YUM, it's also on DNF. So if I say which YUM file user bin YUM, notice that a symbolic link to DNF3. So if I say which DNF, yum type user ben and DNF, and there's also a symbolic link to user ben, so a file. And file, I will say symbolic link to DNF3. But if I say now file on DNF-3, it is actually a Python script. So it's about 62 lines, I believe. So if I do a word count minus L, it will say 62 lines. And the content of it, if I look at it, I could see cat minus N, that is DNF3. So DNF3 is a replacement for yum, which is symbolic link to DNF3, and DNF is also symbolic link to it. So DNF by itself, you run it, it runs the DNF-3 command, and it gives you all the list of the commands. DNF repo list also shows you the list of repositories that are there. And then there's a lot more you can do with the DNF stuff. And so if I just say DNF list and then word count minus L, notice there's 6,000. So DNF list and dash install, how many are installed here. If I just want to do a word count on that one, I can get that one, or dash available to be installed there. So DNF dash list itself was showing about 6,000, I believe, something. Yeah, 6,700. Those two numbers does not add up to exactly 67,000, because some of those numbers are available installed versus what or the dependencies could be just a little bit off. So if you go to a basic calculator, say 67,000, 6,700 minus 1173, it doesn't give you exactly 5525. It gives you 4527. And there's some other ones that are available, and then some of them are not available. You have to do a subscription repo list and enable them, and then get them installed if you want to do that. So let me just check on one more thing here for DNF. So I'm gonna just do a DNF. Remember earlier we were saying the software update, when you run it, it runs the software update with GNOME software update. So if I just go under the user bin and then look for soft update, their update is there, and then IP upgrade update alternative. So if I just go here and then I want to find out the graphical interface, this one, when this one starts, what is the binary that is running? So top, and you see GNOME dash software, I believe it is. So what we could do is ps minus ef grep minus I, and then I'm looking for GNOME, and then the name is GNOME dash session, GNOME dash and GNOME dash software. Yeah, so GNOME dash software is the same as if I'm running this GUI interface. So if I close those GUI and then I say which GNOME dash software, I just identify what that binary is. So if I just say GNOME dash software, software is as if I click on that icon for the software update, and it is going to just do the same thing here. So that is one way that you can run the GUI. I'm going to just close that one and then say do it from command line, DNF update. If I do update like Firefox here, I can just say just update the Firefox. Notice if I just say no here and say ps minus ef grep minus I Firefox. So Firefox is not running. I say rpm minus qa grep minus I Firefox. So now I know that Firefox is there, 1 or 2 something, and then I say DNF search Firefox to see what is available for Firefox. So Firefox 11 is available on this one, and then currently Firefox dash version, I have 102 released, 102. So I'm gonna say DNF update Firefox, and I'm gonna say yeah, go ahead, do it this one. But it's 102.12.0.1. So this is saying that this is there that you want to upgrade it. You are going to get 102.12.0.1. That's Enterprise Linux 9. And is that what you want? I say yes, go ahead and do that. And it requires 107 megabyte on the system. I have plenty because I gave it 20 gig of space. So, and that's not as too big to worry about, and then I can just get that package installed. So at the same time, if you're running another session of DNF, sometimes there's a file getting locked on it. And so you cannot run multiple DNF updates on the session because some of them, they don't want to interfere with another session. You want to let this one finish. When it is done all the way, then you just check it. Now it is there, Firefox dash version, and it shows 102.12 now. Rather than earlier was showing 102 point something, but now it is exactly the version that we want. And right here was 102.10 ESR. Now we upgraded to 0.12 ESR. So this is how you upgrade individual package. But sometimes on the system that you don't have time to sit down in front of a machine and do all of them in, one by one, all these packages. Notice that if you say DNF less dash upgradable, dash upgradable, I believe it is upgradable. Let me just so you could say dash help and then grep minus I upgradable. So the typo might be there. So here system upgrade updatable is the word I believe I'm looking for. Updatable. Yeah, updatable. What is upgrade updatable? Okay, I'm gonna just do DNF update first, see what is going to get updated. And if there's any other additional package that needs to be updated, it will tell me what is upgradable and what is not. So this command is gonna run for a while. As you can see, there's a number of packages, upgrade 51 packages. So right now it's working on package 8 of 57. If it takes a while, you could just open another terminal and work on another session to do something more. So let's go back to the file manager. This is a multitasking operating system. We can do multiple things. And then I'm going to write some shell scripting, okay? So shell scripting, let's discuss that one. Here, I'm going to just go CD here. I'm on my home directory. I create a directory, say make dir programs. And then now I'm on programs by CDing there. But remember, and this path is really long, and I don't want this information to be there. In case if I want to make a short out of it, I want to just be able to capture the information. So I say export PS1 is equal $$ this. Now PS1 is there. My print working directory is that. I'm gonna just say them. Let's call it demo1.sh. So here I'm going to say pound shebang, user ben env, and then I'm going to say bash. And then I say set -x here and say echo. This is a simple test. Simple test or the whatever. I'm going to just write very short form, simple test. And then I say just to show you that first, and then I'm gonna just not add any other command here. So now if I say ls-l demo1.sh, I created that file ls demo1.sh. If I run demo1.sh, it's not gonna run because that file itself is not executable here. You can see it's not set. So I'm gonna say change mode and then 755 demo1.sh. Now ls-l and demo1.sh, it has the executable permission for the owner and in the group and others as set, and then the file is demo1.sh is executable, as you can see from the color. So if I run it, it just run the set -x, it shows me that every command that it runs, it just shows that one with the plus, and then it runs this. So now I'm gonna say vim demo1.sh, and this time I'm going to comment this one. Don't run the set, but run the echo, and then say pwd, and then run the calendar command. So those two commands, and then add the host name also. So let's just move the host name up, and then pwd, and then calendar. That's good. And then maybe uid-un. So run those commands and clear the screen here, and I say /demo1.sh. This time, this is a simple test. This was the output of that one, the command host name, and then print working directory, and then the calendar, and then the UID. So vim demo1.sh, and instead of I explain it, I put this set -x out, and then do run the same command, and then do the vim. Sorry, I'm gonna do a clear screen before this, so I don't have to do clear every time myself. So now I run the demo1.sh, it automatically clear the screen and says run the echo, and here's the output. Run the host name, here's the output. Run pwd, here's the output. Calendar, and here's the output. So that's how you just simply write a simple script. Vim and demo1.sh. If I just want to get rid of these lines, now I can say and just create a variable called log, and just I'm going to say demo1.log. So I'm going to just say for example, if file that regular file $log exists, then just remove it. So every time I want a fresh start, so like then rm $log. Every time the log gets fresh, then I say run the date command, and then log it to $log. So let's just do that, and then say working on $. Let's say working on run the date command here, also on the backtick, double greater sign, $log, and then say name is equal, and then I'm going to run the command. The command I'm going to run, say id-un, and then just at the end of the log file, and instead of just do that one and say script by $, and by $, name, and then instead of this, I'm going to just do that, and then put echo that and this. Just a simple script. I was not thinking of anything, just to do simple ones. So clear screen, and then demo1.sh, command line 7 not found. So let's see demo1.sh. I must have a typo. Working right here. So this one you have to say echo working on this command. That's a backtick there, and then do this, and then a clear screen demo1.sh. And now the log file gets created. Yes, it is there. And then cat -n demo1.log. It is there. So now let's assume that I just did all that thing correctly, which is correct. I just want to say echo, and this is a test, and then send it this one to demo1.log. So now demo1.log is already tampered. Somebody modified it, but what you could do is run this script that we did, and then already modify the demo1.log back to what the script wanted to do. So the scripting is very nice. You can do a lot of stuff. Here's another script. I could do copy demo1.log, demo1.sh to demo2.sh, vem and demo1.sh, and then I could just delete all of these lines here. I could just say for number, and let's say instead of the sequence there, I could just say 1 and dot dot. Let's just start with 10 dot dot 50. We just do those numbers, and we say do, and we say echo the value of the number. Let's just make it small. Just say num is equal $, and num, and then we do that output, and then we just say num is equal, and then expression and $num plus 5, and then close the expression, and then we're done. So within the for statement, we're incrementing the num there, but the for statement does not need to increment this one. It's already going through 10.5 for this. So I'm going to comment that one, because later on I'm going to change that one to a while statement. So if I just say demo1.sh, it just did those numbers as I expected it, right? From 5 to 10. But notice if I say vem copy demo2.sh to demo3.sh, and then vem demo3.sh, change that for statement to a while statement. I'm sorry, I just copied the wrong file. Now let me just look at it. Demo3 cut demo2.sh, cut demo1.sh. Yeah, demo1. So copy demo1.sh to demo3.sh, and then vem and demo3.sh. And then instead of this for statement, I started with num is equal 5 here, and then instead of this, I could say while, and then a $, and num is less than 50. Just keep doing that one. Do this one, and then we have to increment it, otherwise it's going to go indefinite loop. And then we get rid of this blank line here, clear screen, cat demo3.sh, and run demo3.sh now. It runs at 5, 10 incremented, and then at 45 stops. And so the power of shell scripting and other programming, Python and other ones, are all there. So what I'm going to cover on this one next, on the scripting, let's see what is the compilers. Compilers is another thing that we could do this. Well, this one is already completed. You see here, the DNF update completed. So if I say run this command again, it just says is fully completed, it's done. And then if I just say gnome-software, run to the GUI and go here, the system is up to date. It's already checked. I don't need to worry about it. So this is how you can just apply the change and you're done. So here, when I get out of this screen, I say DNF upgrade. If there's any upgrade, it will do it. Otherwise, I'm up to the date. And then here, cat etc/OS release, it shows 9.2 version. That is the latest and greatest. That's what I have. So we covered that one as well. And now let's cover the next part, which is under the shell. We covered the compilers. So I'm gonna just cover a few things with C and C++ first. In order to do that one, let's make sure that first on this terminal that we did, say which GCC. GCC is not installed, which G++ is not installed. So I'm going to say GCC that version, and it's going to try to run the version. Since it's not there, it's going to say, do you want to install it? I could install it as this. I'm going to say no, but I want to do a DNF update with the packages here. So I'm going to say DNF update, DNF install, not update, DNF install and GCC. So this will prompt me for the installation of GCC, and I'm running it as root, so it will be available for all users. And now clear the screen, which GCC that version, it already installed it for me. Similarly, I do DNF install. If I do which G++, the C++ version of GNU is not there, which G++ does not show up. So I'd say DNF install G++, and that would install G++, which is C++ version of GNU C collection compilers. I do that one, and then once install it, and then I'm going to just write a couple of C and C++ code programs. So if I say which G++ now, it is installed G++ -- version, also shows me the version that I have is 11.3. And GCC -- version was also 11.3.1. So now coming back in here on this directory where you run shells, and let's just make directory under the shells. Actually, under the programs, in order to organize it, I'm going to make directory called shells and move a star.sh to shells. And that would just move it. And now only the log is there. Move a star.log to also to shells because that's where it belongs. So under the shells, I have those ones. And now under the programs, I only have shell directory. So I'm going to make directory C and then C++. And those two directory I just created, let's start off with the C directory. So I'm going to go to C and then I say vim hello.c. If I just say pound include and then say standard io.h and then say int main and then start brace and then say printf statement and say hello world. Hello world. I can put a new line character here and then just semicolon, return successful meaning 0, and then close the brace, and then dd, skip it, right? So now cat -n hello.c. File hello.c is a C source code. So I wrote that one as a C source code. I'm gonna use the GCC-O for name it hello, and then the output is hello. The source is hello.c. So now I just created hello, and then clearing the screen, file hello. Everything one is source code. Hello is the executable link format. File hello is the executable link format. file hello.c is the source code. Cat hello.c is gonna give me that printout of hello world. So when I run the hello, it will just say hello world. And that is how simple it is to compile it there. Obviously, there's other options with the -G for a debugging option and everything to do. There's a lot of other videos I already made. Please watch those ones for detail. This is just to show you the Rocky features. So I'm going to cover as much as I can on one video. So this one, I'm gonna just write a for statement. And let's say vim for.c here for demo.c. Let's call it for demo. And then again pound include standard io.h, and then end main started embrace, and then say for I is equal 0, I less than let's say 11, this or equal than 10. We include 10 also, and say I plus plus incremented, and then at this time I'm gonna use a parentheses here, say printf, and let's say we say this is a line number, and then printf statement. Since it's a %d for line number, we just say %d and then comma I. That would be equivalent to the printf statement. And then here and say return. We don't have to have one line as a start brace and left brace, but it's okay. We could have done that one also. Now save it, clearing the screen, ls-l, and let's compile it. So gcc -o for demo, and then for demo.c, and it is giving me error. So let's see what are the errors on the for I there undeclared I. So vim for demo.c, and then here I could have declared here while I'm doing it for end I. That would just declare it at the same time there. So let's see if there's more errors or not. Undefined type and net, some typo again. Vim and net end made. So that's typo, and then clearing the screen again. Expected semicolon before this token printf statement, yes. And that is also a mistype of semicolon right at the end of this line where it says %d. And so I'm going to go all the way to the end of this one, put the semicolon, clear the screen. Now it should be okay. And it is okay. For demo, then for demo, it's going to just run that one. But notice it did not give a new line character, which is the output was sloppy. So in order to do that one, we correct it. And right here, we put a percentage, the new line characters /n, and then recompile it. And by recompiling it, we get a new binary for demo. And when you run for demo, this time the output is accurate. So that is an example of that one. I'm not going to go through for while everything there. That would be a separate video. You should look at my other videos there. So and now we're going to go to C++ compiler. Well, it's time is there 9 o'clock already. So let's just I'm gonna just go to the C++ directory first, and then copy everything that I have on the C and just convert it to C++. So copy .c star C star c/star.c to here, and then now I'm just gonna change the file vim Okay, move hello.c to hello.c++, and then vim for let's do first hello.c++, vim hello.c++, and then we just, instead of this one, we say pound include IO string, so input output string, and then int main is fine. Printf statement is actually okay, but we could do it C out. Notice that this one is still would work. So file hello.c++, it still says source code C, but if I say G++ and then hello and hello.c++, it cannot find a hello there. Let me see what I named it. Hello.c++. Oh, minus O here, and then there. So it did created hello there. You can see it is still work. But if I want to just change it to hello.c++ to actual C++, I could say using namespace std. I could do that one, and then right here I could just say std colon c out. So the scope resolution is there. I could do that one, or just say using namespace std, and I don't have to do the scope resolution. So this one I could just say for now remove it because I'm covering it there. And then on here I could say double quote and then a less than sign, and then std scope resolution again, and then end line and end line, and then that would do this. So this might work without using namespace, and then compile it again. Yeah, it did work. Hello, and it's file hello.c++. It still shows C source code. Then hello.c++. And now let's add using namespace std, and then just take this one out, and then just remove this std colon, and remove this one because we use using namespace std, and then compile it again, and it works, and then hello, it works there, and then for that one, for the next one, as clear the screen, cat hello, actually file hello star. You can see one that says ln format, and the nice thing is this time file hello.c++, it shows C++ code because of the one that we used using namespace C++. So that using namespace is recognized as C++ code, even though we had C out before, it was not seeing it. iOS team was there, it was not seeing it. It was still saying C combination. So that's kind of like a small bug, but you could say it's okay. I would say it's okay. So the next one, we could do the for demo also. So let's say vim move first for demo.c, and then for demo.c++, then for demo.c++. I'm gonna quickly do that one, and instead of this one, and we say IO string, and then the next line we say using a namespace std, and then the for statement is okay, and instead of this one we just say C out, and then less than sign, and do this. We don't have to do this. We don't have to do this, and then we're going to take care of this one I, and then the one I want to do here is this, and the data type is automatic understood in line, and then just do that. So this should be okay for this one, clear screen, and then host name. So clear the screen, host name, and then ls-cell file for demo.c++. It is a C++, and now G++ -O for demo, and then for demo.c++. It add errors include terminated vem IO stream, vem for demo.c++. IO include IO stream. Oh, stream IO SR is missing, and that was why. R was missing, and then now we compile it, it works for demo there, and it runs. So that was for the compilation of C++. The next thing is with interpreters. Python is your friend. Python dash version gives you the version. I'm sorry, Python dash version will give you the version. Python that version will give you the version of Python 3.9. Python and dash uppercase B also give you that one. Without it, it will drop you to the Python interpreter. You can run Python and then do 2 + 2 is equal, import a math module, math.py, get the value, math.square root of 100, pow of 2 to the power of 10, 1024, and there's a lot of things on Python you can do. That's just an interpreter I showed you, and then there's a lot of other bash interpreter that I already showed you. There's awk and knock and other ones. For a lot of these utilities, please go to my YouTube channels and watch more of them. For the database, honestly, there's a lot I have covered already on the database for MySQL. So look at the videos for MySQL shell here and MySQL database installation and running it on the line. You can do that one, and you can also do installation on this one for MySQL. So becoming root again here, you could just say DNF install MySQL D. MySQL server is the one that you want to install, and you say yes, and that would install MySQL server, and then MySQL client will come with it, and then you have a default installation and just using it. For more details, just look at MySQL videos that I did it on Red Hat and other versions, and they're all the same. So now we have installed which MySQL and MySQL D as the daemon. So systemctl status MySQL D, it will just say it is not enabled. I can enable it or start it. I don't want to enable it by default on the system. So I can start it, and then I could just get into MySQL. By default, it does not require you any user or any account. So once you started MySQL D, now say MySQL systemctl status MySQL D, it is showing it is running. PS -ef grep -i MySQL D. It will just do that one, and MySQL itself -u root -p. It's gonna prompt the password. The default is not there. Any password, then you can secure it later on. I have done it on the other video. Just look at that video. Show databases. It's sorry. Show space databases, and then semicolon is there. Use MySQL, for example. Show tables. You can do describe users, and then select a store from not users. Describe user. You can get all the information about the user table. Explain user. There's a lot of things you can do with these databases. So I'm going to not cover all of it, but I just install it, and I'm doing it there. And then you can also run system commands here. So you can say system pwd and run the system clear screen, system hostname. So a lot of the information. I'm going to exit out. Now I'm done with MySQL as well. The last thing that I think I should have covered this one. The web servers, just go on my utilities, apps and utilities for other videos. I have covered enough on those ones. Already there's thousands of videos that I have on the YouTube channel that covers those ones. It will be repetition for that thing here. And then all the systemd, systemctl, all of their commands are all here. The web server is also Apache web server. I did a number of source build and other ones. If you want to just install Apache web server, that is fine. Here you just go here, say Apache system CTL. If it is not already there, status HTTPD, it's not there, so you say DNF install HTTPD. That would install Apache, and then by default there's some configuration you have to do, but you can say system CTL start HTTPD, and then a system CTL status HTTPD. So now HTTPD is there. If you see HTTPD, clear the screen, and there's a conf directory, cd conf directory, conf httpd.conf file has all the directives. Lesson is there, the document root there, the server name, all of that information, or this one. So if you go on the local host on the Firefox running it, and let's say just here under the show and then activity, click on the Firefox. Let me just start Firefox from command line. So you could say Firefox here, and then and just start Firefox, and then go to localhost, http:/localhost, and that would be going to HTTP server by default. So this is Apache configuration we just started. If you go back here on the command line, and then just where we started Apache, we say systemctl stop HTTPD, and then now stop it. Go back to the Firefox and then refresh this window, it will say not found. So that is how you work with Apache. And then the next thing that we are looking at, that one, web server we covered, and database we covered. System automation is the last thing. System automation is more kind of a script and automation that you can write on the system, whether you write a Python script or a Perl script or a C shell, Bash scripting, or C programming, C++, Go language, whatever language, JavaScript. There's a system automation for different purpose. You do it for backup purpose, for monitoring, for other ones. And that's all there is to it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I have to go somewhere, and I have been really trying to just cover as much as possible, but I think it is on one video is good enough for you, and it's going to help you in a number of ways. Please watch the video over and over. If you have any question, make some comments, and just enjoy it. God bless you all. Take care. Bye-bye.